Well, welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to one last very special episode of the Sky Sports F1 quiz. And today, it's finals day. Look at the brain power we have in front of us today. Craig Slater, waving, he's that keen. Martin Brundle has got up early to revise up in Norfolk. Anthony Davidson has abandoned his homeschooling today to take part in our quiz. And Karun, we know he needs no research when it comes to Formula One. Gentlemen, welcome. Karun, how are you feeling ahead of the final?
I'm feeling quite nervous, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm actually quite nervous. Martin? Because Slater's brought his A game with his wardrobe now. That's completely thrown me.
Yeah, what's with the suit, Craig?
Crofty, I've never been in a final of anything. It's my cup final, so I'm going to dress to. At least if I can't be first, I can be best dressed.
Well, you've certainly won that. If there were bonus points for style, you'd definitely get it. Martin Brundle, you don't suffer from nerves. Not up there in Norfolk. Not surveying the scene. Not looking at this opposition. This is yours to lose today.
I don't think so. I think we should give Karun the trophy or whatever. What is it? £10,000 for winning this or something. Give that to him now. Let's crack open a bottle of wine each and tell stories.
Well, we can do some of that as well. And how have you been revising for this final?
Well, not much is the answer. I've been tucked away on my simulator, practicing that instead. So I don't know how I'm here, to be honest. I don't know how I got through to the final. It was a fluke, I think, and I think you got your counting wrong on the day in the heat. But yeah, here I am. I don't know how.
It was your.
Well done, Karun. Well done.
Well done. You were going to get to the final the minute Johnny Herbert picked Shakespeare as his specialist subject. But the rules are exactly the same for the final as they were for the heats, except we have 4 people today, not 3. So you have a specialist subject round to start, and if you get a wrong answer, I will open it up for someone to claim a bonus point. Usual rules apply. Please shout out your name, put up your hand. Don't just give me the answer. There's an F1 round as our second round in this. How well do you know your Sky Sports teammates? Yes, that is back, as we reveal 5 more fascinating facts about you all. And we finish off with a bonus special subject that you can pick from the list that I've compiled. So let's start off, shall we? And go to Martin Brundle first for his specialist subject, which is the fair Republic of Norfolk. Yes, Norfolk is Martin Brundle's specialist subject. So 5 questions for you, Martin, a point for each. In 1814, Jeremiah Coleman opened up a premises producing what would eventually become one of Norwich's most well-known products. But what was it?
Well, Crofty, as I'm looking out the window at my beautiful Norfolk, that would be, and they stopped producing it in Norfolk just last year, sadly, and that has got to be Coleman's mustard, which I had on my ham and tomato sandwich just at lunchtime. Hey, living it up here in Norfolk today.
Ever the Norfolk patriot as well. It just doesn't taste the same. Now it's not made in Norwich. And which classic BBC sitcom was filmed in and around the town of Thetford?
Oh, that's Alan Partridge, isn't it? That is, what the hell is that called? Oh, my goodness me. What was it? We don't like it in Norfolk because he makes fun out of us. What was it? What is it called? Can't remember.
Do you mean Knowing Me, Knowing You with Alan Partridge? Or This Is Alan Partridge? Because I'm afraid it's the wrong answer.
No. Right. Okay.
I'll open it up.
You've got to throw it out there.
Classic BBC sitcom was filmed in and around the town of Thetford. Who wants a point?
No idea.
Don't know.
Dad's Army.
No.
See, I didn't know that.
Statue of Captain Mannering in the town
centre. Alan Partridge was Norwich, of course. What am I talking about?
Well, he was at the Travel Tavern, wasn't he? As well, which was nearer Thetford, but not quite.
I can hear my old man shouting at me right now.
He did a lot of that, especially in the younger years. Now, which seaside resort in Norfolk is the only East Coast resort that faces west?
That has got to be Hunstanton.
Oh, the beautiful resort of Hunstanton. Absolutely.
Sunny Honey, as it's known around here.
How many days of sunshine a year? 5, 6, 7?
400.
Love it. Now, as you often point out, Admiral Nelson was born in Norfolk, one of many famous people that often call the county their home. You've got Stephen Fry, Delia Smith, Jason Statham lived in Great Yarmouth, Jake Humphrey, of course, big celebrities that live in Norfolk. But where was old Horatio born?
Well, by the way, Pocahontas is the second most famous person in Norfolk after Horatio Nelson. Pocahontas was born in Heacham, believe it or not, which is a bit of a bizarre fact, isn't it? He was born in 1758 in Burnham Thorpe.
Brilliant. Where
North Norfolk.
Where the hell
it was a Tuesday morning. It was a bit wet and windy.
Perfect day for him. He was born to sail the seven seas. Right. Final question on Norfolk. Johnny Depp once bought what from a shop in Norwich? Did he go down the Gentleman's Walk and buy a pirate's eye patch and cutlass? Did he go to the Royal Arcade and buy a pair of Victorian slippers? Or did he pop into Stiff Key bathrooms and buy a bathtub?
Well, Stiff Key's on the North Norfolk coast. What was the first one? Did he buy? Wait, it's got to be a patch, isn't it? It's got to be give me the first one again.
A pirate's eye patch and cutlass from a fancy dress shop on the Gentleman's Walk.
It's got to be the one, hasn't it?
I'm afraid it's not. I'll open this out to the floor. Karun.
I'm going to go with the bathtub.
He once spent $5,000 on a French bateau antique bath from Stiff Key Bathrooms in Norwich. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the correct answer.
I bizarrely remember reading that somewhere. But anyway.
It seemed like the obvious choice. You beat me to it, Karun. I was going to go for that.
Sorry, I just thought, Pirates of the Caribbean and all that.
Well, no, that's why we put it in there, to try and confuse you all. But to me, where does Johnny Depp get a bathroom shop in Norwich from? I mean, the man travels the world. I'm not sure he's ever been to Norwich, but there you go.
A $5,000 bath in Norwich.
Yeah, $5,000 bath, which he doesn't have anymore. I don't know who got it in the divorce settlement, but he claims he hasn't. Right, Norfolk for Martin Brundle. We move on to Craig Slater for his specialist subject, Tony Wilson and Factory Records. Got the book.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've got no furniture. Everyone knows it's all in storage as I've moved house. I've got 2 books. This is one of them. So this was my specialist subject.
The other book is Ferguson.
Yes.
This is genius. This is genius because none of us are going to steal any of his questions, are we? I've never heard of it.
Don't be so sure. We'll see.
I've put in a few multiple choice just to give you all a hand. Right, question number 1. Which singer did Tony Wilson once describe as the most important poet since Keats? Was it Ian Curtis of Joy Division? Was it Jez Kerr from A Certain Ratio? Or was it Sean Ryder of the Happy Mondays?
He compares him to Keats, and it is Sean Ryder from the Happy Mondays.
Believe it or not, it is Sean Ryder from the Happy Mondays. Which of the following TV programs did Tony Wilson not host? The Freddie Mercury tribute concert at Wembley for the BBC, Master Fan for MUTV, a Manchester United quiz, or Channel 4's The Word?
Oh. He's a United fan. It was Terry Christian is The Word. I'm going to guess it is actually The Word, even though that was a kind of pop music show, The Word. He didn't host The Word.
It was The Word. He hosted a version of The Tube for Channel 4 Radio, but he did not host The Word. Steve Coogan, in the film version of your book, played Tony Wilson in 24-Hour Party People. But which Manchester band is Steve's brother Martin the lead singer of? Oh, you see, it's getting tough because we're in the final.
Not a single word of your question I can even relate to.
Martin Coogan. So it's got to be
in the heats, Karun. You had no idea who Fred Coppers was.
I don't even know.
To get through to the final. Craig, go for it.
Are in Spiral Carpets, Manchester? I'm going to guess them. I don't know. I've no idea.
It is not the Spiral Carpets. Steve Coogan's brother Martin, lead singer of which Manchester band? Ant, Karun, Martin.
No idea, Crofty. No idea.
The Mock Turtles.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I nearly said that.
Big F1 fan, Coogan, of course. Delightful company at Silverstone, isn't he? We've all seen him there.
He certainly was for you. Now, the Hacienda Club opened at the premises that was once a Victorian textile factory near the centre of Manchester. But what was the venue being used as prior to the opening of the club?
I do know this because it's in the book, and if you've watched the heats, you know I met my wife in the hacienda on the dance floor. Yeah, it was being used as a showroom for yachts.
It was being used as a showroom for yachts, and before you think, why would you have yachts in Manchester? It's right next door to the to the Rochdale Canal.
Yes.
Whether you can get a yacht down the canal, I don't know. Final question: Bernard Manning hosted the opening night of the Hacienda Club in '92. True or false?
That is true. It's true. I think he lasted a minute. He was booed off. He was offered his 400 quid fee and declined it.
He did.
It says in the book. Good book. Read the book.
The crowd did not like Bernard Manning, which shows you that the Hacienda Club crowd were the best judges of comedy in the 1990s. Craig Slater, 4 points for you in your round. Very good indeed. We move on swiftly to Karun Chandhok's specialist subjects. And guess what, gents? He's gone for Formula One again, his specialist subjects, but this time in the 1980s. So how old were you in the 1980s, KC?
Well, I was born in '84, so.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I'm less optimistic with this one, but you wouldn't let me have the 90s again.
Damn right.
And I was gonna choose curry, but then you think a duck boona is a real dish, so I just thought the questions would be a disaster if I chose curry.
When you next come round to my house and eat my duck boona, then you'll know.
It's not an Indian curry, Crofty. Carry on.
This house, trust me. Now, in 1985, you were 1 year old. But who finished fourth at the Brazilian Grand Prix that year and was then sacked by his team before the next race?
René Arnoux?
René Arnoux, ladies and gentlemen, is the correct answer.
Yeah, well done.
Karun, something else.
I love this. Ant is shaking his head as I'm asking the question, and now, in stunned disbelief, is shaking his head even more at the walking encyclopedia that is Karun Chandhok.
I've never witnessed this, actually, Crofty, before. I've heard. It's like legend, to me, and here it is. You're my hero, Karun.
Yeah, you're everyone's hero, Karun.
I have your autograph.
1989, after the ban on turbocharged engines, how many drivers attempted to qualify for the first race of the season in Brazil? Was it 32, 35, or 38?
It was quite high, wasn't it? Because a load of chances that came in. But they more came in for European. What was the middle one?
32, 35, or 38?
I'm going to say 35.
I'm going to offer it out.
And
Martin.
Martin, what were you going to say?
32.
Right, it is 38.
I said 38.
Can we get half a point?
Oh, yeah, I haven't got that. Yeah.
I didn't know if you heard
There's
that.
anyone left.
Martin's got a little bit of internet lag, so I thought I'd ask him as well, and then he gave the wrong answer. You gave the right answer.
I think there's a bit of favouritism here. I'm sure my hand went up first there, Crofty.
No, it did.
I think there's this commentary bond going on here.
Exactly.
Pick it up.
But as much as I tried to help, you got the answer wrong. As did, stunningly, Karun Chandhok. 20 teams went through to qualifying for 26 grid spots. They had 13 cars take part in a pre-qualifying session on the Friday, with only 4 going through as well. There were that many cars trying to race. Let's go to 1983, to the Long Beach Grand Prix. John Watson won it. Niki Lauda came second. McLaren won 2, but where did they start on the grid?
22nd and 23rd?
It's the correct answer.
Oh, well done.
And still to this day remains the farthest away from pole for a winning car in Formula One.
Do you know my dad was at that race? He was in the grandstand for that race. Yeah, it was the first race he ever went to, bizarrely.
And what a race it was. Absolute carnage throughout. And Keke Rosberg won the Swiss Grand Prix in 1982. His only win in his championship winning year, but where was the race held?
Dijon.
Dijon.
I've driven that car, so it's quite cool.
One of many cars that you've driven over the years, and a question that might be coming up a little later, so we won't talk about that any further. Minardi scored their only double points finish at the 1989 British Grand Prix with a 5th and 6th place. But which 2 drivers claimed that historic result?
Martini was one of them.
Yes.
Sala. Is the other one?
It's the correct answer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Karun Chandhok works for Sky Sports F1. He is a walking encyclopedia of magnificent knowledge. Correct. Well done, Karun Chandhok.
Thank you very much.
Very, very good. Right. We go from Formula One in the 1980s to Ant's specialist subject, Minecraft the game.
Yes.
Ooh.
None of you will have a clue of these answers.
I have no idea.
Yes.
Good luck,
You
Anne.
thought Craig's was tough. This is what spending 2 or 3 months of lockdown with your 8 or 9-year-old son does through this period. So I think I've become quite the master of Minecraft, playing online with him. So let's see how I do.
I'd like to thank in advance Crofty Jr., my son Daniel, for these questions because he's compiled them.
Oh.
If Ant gets it right, if Ant gets them right, does he get a Crofty Jr. hat?
Yeah, you can have a Crofty Jr. hat.
Okay.
We'll get you one sorted. Or a Crofty Jr. or a Junior.
Calling it a specialist subject, though, is a little bit far-fetched, I must say. I was much more comfortable with the solar system in the heat. I can't believe you didn't let me take that one again, Crofty.
No. We're testing your depth of knowledge, not just to one topic. Anyway, what was the original name for Minecraft? Was it the cave game, the block game, or the building game?
Cave game.
It's the correct answer. No idea why, but it was. Minecraft was sold for $2.6 billion to which company?
Microsoft.
Is the right answer. Do you know how the sale came about?
I think the lead developer passed away.
Marcus Persson wanted to see if anyone was interested in buying it, so he sent out a tweet. Does anyone want to buy my game?
I was on tweet, yeah. Okay.
No way.
Yeah.
And Microsoft said yeah, and 3 months later paid him $2.6 billion.
Jeez.
So if there's anyone out there that would like the format for this quiz,
On Twitter,
putting a tweet out later.
Yeah.
In the words of Olivia Newton-John, let's get quizzical, everybody.
No.
I'll offer you 2.5p for it. How about that, Crofty?
Get up the answer. Come on. Be clever, be smart. Someone will want this somewhere. Now, one of Minecraft's stranger native species is the creeper, the electronically charged predator with a haunting face. But what was Marcus Persson, the man who created Minecraft, trying to design when he came up with the creeper? Was it a cow, a dog, or a pig?
I think it was a cow.
Is the wrong answer.
Ah!
Martin.
Martin is straight in there.
Pig.
Is the right answer. You see?
Oh, we've got another secret Minecraft player here, we must.
Martin Brundle, he knows his pigs, ladies and gentlemen, is the brand new catchphrase for this quiz.
You gotta be quick off the mark with this lot.
Yeah.
Gotta grab a few points there.
Straight in there. Now, which of these is not a dimension in Minecraft? The nether, the side world, or the end?
Side world.
Is the correct answer. You have been playing this hard. And if you cooked a potato on a campfire in Minecraft, would you make hash browns, potato waffles, or baked potato?
Baked potato.
It is the right answer.
That's a bit more of a guess that time, yeah.
Everything's
I thought it
about
could be
baked
hash
potato.
browns.
Yeah, you wanted it to be hash browns. I wanted it to be hash browns for you, Crofty, but you would have eaten them all.
See, that's the trouble with Minecraft. I can't eat hash browns, therefore I'm not interested. But what I am interested in is the scores at the end of round one, our specialist subject round. Craig Slater and Martin Brundle, an absolutely magnificent 4, but an outstanding 5 for Anthony Davidson and Karun Chandhok, our joint leaders.
Ooh.
Very good. Right. We move on to our Formula One round. Anyone, even if you're not Karun, can answer the question.
We don't stand a chance. What are you talking about?
So shout out your name and let's see what we can do. 10 questions. Here we go. When was the last Grand Prix to be won by a British driver other than Jenson Button or Lewis Hamilton?
Karun.
Karun?
David Coulthard?
In?
2001.
Wrong answer. When was the last Grand Prix to be won by a British driver other than Jenson Button or Lewis Hamilton?
Oh, 2003.
Right. See, Karun, you're really, really clever. But the bit about shout your name out first.
Karun, 2003.
2003.
To be fair, once you've got it wrong, you can't have a go again.
Oh,
Anthony.
sorry.
That would be David Coulthard in 2003, Crofty.
Yeah, which Grand Prix, Ant?
Oh. What do you reckon, Karun?
This is the finals, Ant. This is,
Yeah, I don't know. No
Red
idea.
Bull,
Let's say Spa.
Is the wrong answer.
Oh.
It isn't Spa.
Austria.
Martin, not Austria. Craig, would you like to have a go?
Hungary? Was it Hungary?
Australia.
No, Australia.
2003, David Coulthard.
when Montoya binned it, wasn't it? Anyway, Karun.
In what race did Michael Schumacher take his last Grand Prix victory?
Karun,
Is
China 2006.
the correct answer. Very good. When was the last Grand Prix win for a Ford-engined car?
Karun.
That's too quick.
Karun?
It was the Fisichella win in Interlagos in 2003.
It was the Fisichella win.
Which wasn't really a win, was it? Or was it?
Says so on the record books.
Yeah, no. That was where they handed the trophies over, wasn't it?
Mm.
The famous trophy handover.
It's not the first time that's happened before.
So, which British driver won the 1976 Austrian Grand Prix in a Penske?
Martin
Martin?
Johnson. No, he didn't win it, did he?
Did you say John Watson?
I said John Watson.
Yeah, is the correct answer. Before
Bit of
you
luck then.
talk yourself out of it,
Yeah.
put you out of your misery there. That is the correct answer. One of his 5 Grand Prix wins. In which race did Nigel Mansell take his final F1 Grand Prix victory?
Karun. Well, it was in Adelaide, 94.
It was Adelaide 94. Very good. The last all-British podium was the 1968 United States Grand Prix, but who were the 3 drivers?
Martin.
Martin.
I'm going to say Jackie Shirt, Graham Hill, and John Surtees.
Brilliant answer. Would have taken me forever to get
So
that.
convincing.
Very good indeed. I like that. Bernie Ecclestone entered the 1958 Monaco Grand Prix. Where did he finish?
Craig.
Craig.
He did not qualify.
He
Didn't
qualify. Yeah, absolutely. How many
Very
races did Ralph Schumacher win?
Karun.
If you get this now, then there is no hope for the
Well,
rest.
I'm taking a punt, but I'm going to say 7.
Is not the right answer.
Martin.
Martin
I'm going to say 5.
is not the right
Craig.
answer.
And
Craig
6.
is eventually the right
Yeah.
answer.
Oh.
And
Joy of six,
I was going to say
yes.
that. I was going to say that. How many races were won by different drivers at the start of the 2012 F1 season?
Craig. 8.
Too quick.
It is
8.
not 8.
No,
7.
Martin.
Karun, 7.
Martin.
Karun, shush, and
7.
7.
Oh, I got
Correct
my hand
answer.
up first
Season,
there.
isn't it?
I
Don't
got my
ask
hand
to
up
name them. I just remember it's 7.
Your broadband's faster than mine. I got my hand up first
He
there.
keeps beating all of us. He's got the fastest by far.
Jenson Button in Australia, Fernando Alonso in Malaysia, Nico Rosberg in China, Fernando Alonso in Bahrain, Pastor Maldonado in Spain, Mark Webber in Monaco, and Lewis Hamilton in Canada are 7 opening races at Sky Sports F1, after which I think 4 drivers have taken the win, something like that. Which F1 driver was born in Hasselt in Belgium?
Craig.
Martin.
Craig.
Max Verstappen.
It's Max Verstappen,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
I was first.
Craig,
there.
I'm sure he
Sorry, I
did.
want a steward's inquiry on that. I want an inquiry on that.
The inquiry would be, is Max Verstappen really Dutch? But the answer is no. He comes from
Yeah, no,
Belgium,
but
ladies and gentlemen.
I want an action replay as to who got in there first.
You've got to say the
We'll give
name
it to Craig.
before, if you got to-
Which
okay.
which Formula One driver was born in Hasselt in Belgium?
Craig.
Martin.
I reckon we got to do a 3, 2, 1. And
Either way, that speedy internet connection has brought us to the end of round 2. And scores are as follows. Anthony, an encouraging 6. Martin Brundle, tied on 6 points with Ant. Craig Slater, 7 points. Puts himself in a contention. Out in front, but not by much. 8 points. Karun Chandhok.
Oh, it's close.
Oh,
it's
it's
tight.
very close.
Very close.
You know what, Karun? Craig's the dark horse here.
Craig's the dark horse. I'm telling you, that
He's the man you got to worry about.
He's got that suit. It's giving him a superpower.
Yeah, when we get to the general knowledge stuff,
And as long as I
we're in
get
trouble.
paired with you in the final round, I'm fine because I've got all your answers.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is actually by mistake on it.
your internet malfunction.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a really good point. Who is Craig answering? No, it's okay. You're answering questions on Martin Brundle in a moment. After Ant has answered questions about Craig Slater.
Oh.
Terrible.
This is going to be bizarre.
This has got to be multiple choice. Come on, give me a
It
chance.
is multiple choice.
This is going to be out there. It's going to be right out there somewhere.
So,
Craig, I'm hoping your son pulls that internet cable off, actually, behind you.
Yeah.
I don't do that. It's all right.
I can see a moment coming up. But Ant, which Australian female soap star described an interview with Craig Slater as the highlights of her career? Was it Kylie Minogue, Holly Valance, or Natalie Imbruglia?
Well, Kylie Minogue's the only one I know has had a connection with Formula One, so I'm going to go with her.
Yeah, well, she has got a connection with Formula One, but it's not the right answer.
Martin!
No, we're not opening this out because you will know your answers to your own subjects.
Okay.
I don't know.
It was Holly Valance, and it was said sarcastically after a disastrous interview with her when I wasn't meant to mention, I think, that she was in Home and Away, and I did little other than talk about events in Summer Bay. She finished it. To be fair to her, she answered all the questions, thanked me, walked away. The press officer said, "How was your interview, Holly?" She said, "Highlight of my career," and walked off.
Was that in Austin when she was in Austin?
In Australia, I think it was, to be fair.
Australia.
Classic.
Yes.
Classic.
You could.
I didn't know she'd come to the Grand Prix.
But she did say it, so I'll take it.
She's been to a Grand Prix. She got interviewed by Craig Slater. I was the same with Patrick Dempsey. Couldn't stop talking about Grey's Anatomy, to be fair. Just couldn't help it. Anyway, 20 years before Craig was born, which famous Scottish football manager used to deliver milk to his Glasgow council house?
Had to be a football question.
Was it Sir Alex Ferguson, Graham Souness, or Sir Kenny Dalglish?
Kenny Dalglish.
Oh.
Could have been.
Kenny Dalglish is a milkman?
I don't know.
Really?
Any of them as a milkman.
It was Alex Ferguson. It was Alex Ferguson, and within a minute of first meeting him, he said, "Where are you from, son?" I said, "Glasgow." "Whereabouts?" So I was born in Govan, grew up in Penally. "Oh, Penally, what street?" I said, "Moor Park Drive, Sir Alex." "What number?" "Number 18. Used to deliver milk there when I was a boy." Very intense man. But yeah. I don't know. Some would say I've got his resemblance. Yeah. Who knows what he got up to?
You've got his bottle, Craig, is what you've got.
Yeah.
And he wants it back.
It was Fergie.
In a newspaper review of Sky Sports News output in the early 2000s, Craig was compared unfavourably to which famous singer? Was he described as a poor man's Michael Bublé, a poor man's Michael Ball, or a poor man's Michael Crawford? It's all very unfair.
It's all very unfair.
To Craig.
Yeah. I'm going to go for Michael Bublé.
Correct. Yes. Very good.
Finally, what a guess.
Poor man's Michael Bublé. I'll take it. It's still probably the nicest thing that's ever been said about me.
He can almost sing as well as you, Craig.
Well,
I'm just loving the fact we found Ant's level at Michael Bublé. This is fantastic. Right. Craig's nickname in boxing circles when he was a ringside reporter was based on which TV crime fighter? Was he called Columbo, Morse, or Taggart?
Morse, I'm going to go for.
You're not right, Anthony.
It's got to be Taggart. It's got to be Scottish.
It would be Colombo.
It was Colombo.
I think Colombo.
I almost went for that. But...
It was Amir Khan's manager who started calling me, and it stuck. But I used to say in every interview, one last thing, just like Colombo did. And I was very shabbily dressed. I still am.
Yeah.
Apart from today.
I assumed it was the rain mac you used to wear. Right, come on, Ant. You need.
I'm trying. He's a hard topic, Craig.
You need this, Ant. In front of millions watching around the world and 5,000 fight fans in the arena, Craig once hosted the weigh-in for the big heavyweight boxing clash between Vladimir Klitschko and David Hay. Remember that?
Did he?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But before he got ready to weigh-in. Before he got ready to rumble, why did Craig deliberately sneeze 4 times into his microphone?
Oh, because he had hay fever.
Yes! People told me
I love you, Crofty.
People told me not to use it as an opening gambit. And so I said, sneezed 4 times. And then said, Hamburg, I think I've got some hay fever.
No.
Silence.
Did they boo you?
I got a few cat calls.
Why are you not doing that now? Why are you not doing that now? You could be the new Michael Buffer.
Yeah. You should always listen to people with more experience.
No.
Craig, I just hope we go to Zandvoort so you can do your Tarzan impression again. That's all I want to happen in 2020.
You've got to have fun.
Just leave the loincloth at home this time. Right. We move on. How well do you know Anthony Davidson? Karun Chandhok.
Oh. Okay.
Anthony's a world champion. Anthony is a world champion. You can never take that away from him. Oh, no. But what position did he finish at in Le Mans the year he became endurance champion in 2014?
Second?
Oh, close. I'm disappointed, Karun.
Third.
I was in the race as well. Were you third? Was that the one where Lapierre had a shunt with me in the rain?
Oh, did he shunt into you?
Yeah, there were 7 of us shunted in the rainstorm. We all aquaplaned into each other.
Yeah. Please tell me it wasn't you that aquaplaned into him.
No, it wasn't. I had another car come into me, but he was further down. I could see him further down the street.
It hammered down with rain, and we had the fastest car.
You were miles in the lead, weren't you?
It was ours to lose. Actually, no, it was the sister car was in the lead, but I think we would have come good by the end of it. But yeah, it hammered down, as you know, aquaplaning everywhere. I saw the cloud coming, and I was tempted to run to the garage to say, you got to pit this lap, because it's obviously such a long lap. And they didn't. They left him out there on the slicks, and that was the end result. So we clawed our way back, I think, from something like 42nd to 3rd, and went on that year to win the championship.
That's all that mattered. That's all that mattered. Now, he might only look like he's 12, but Ant, well into his 40s now. But what age?
Well into.
How old are you?
I'm well into. What are you?
Nearing the end of. What age did Ant become a professional racing driver?
Now, does this include karting? Or are we talking about...
When he became a professional racing driver and got paid for it.
Right. That's got to be 2002, isn't it? Because he was in F3 in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, it was a Honda test driver, 2001, weren't you? BAR test driver, 2001.
You were closer. You were closer to the mark initially.
So you're now 40. We're in 2020. You turned 40 in 2019.
He could be picking up his pension by the time you answer.
sorry. 20. How old was he? He was 23.
Put us out of our misery, Ant.
18, mate. 18.
Oh, were you?
You were close in karting.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, right at the beginning. You mentioned kart. I thought.
I know. I didn't think karting would count as racing, but there you go.
What?
You're a karting driver. You're not.
Apologies to all the young karters
Apologies.
watching this. The hardest racing I've ever done in my life, I have you know.
We're very sorry for Karun, Chandhok, who will be thoroughly reprimanded as soon as we can get anywhere near him. Now, wherever he lays his hat, that is his home. But which of the following statements is true about Ant? He lived in a caravan for 2 years whilst building his house in the country. He once lived on the top floor of a factory in Italy for a whole year. Or he once spent a year sleeping on his ex-girlfriend's sofa because he didn't have enough money to move out when she dumped him for her fitness instructor.
I really hope the third one is true. But I'm pretty sure it's the second one in his karting days, isn't it?
He lived on the top floor of a factory in Italy. Who'd do that, Ant?
It was indeed. I'm glad it wasn't option 3.
I mean, that would be a much better story.
Yeah.
He has never, ever been dumped by anyone for a fitness instructor. He dumped her. Remember that.
For a fitness instructor.
I was a fitness instructor, yeah.
Right. And correct, that was Karun. Well done. Ant was brought up in the new town of Hemel Hempstead. A fact I'm sure he's very proud of. If you Google famous people from Hemel, he still hasn't made it onto the list, by the way, but that's not surprising because he's competing with the lead singer of The Damned and the woman who played the wife in Outnumbered. I mean, come on, Ant. You know, you are the only famous world champion from Hemel Hempstead. You're not even on the list. You haven't even got a blue plaque. When is that town going to recognise you?
Well, just like you haven't got your own car park space yet in a well-known supermarket chain where you grew up.
No, that's true, but I use Lewis Hamilton. Not a deal. Not a problem. And if you Google famous people from Stevenage, I'm on the list. So there you go. Right.
You are pretty good at Wikipedia, though, aren't you?
He does it every day just to make sure he's not being bumped off.
That's another thing that I'm good at. Me.
You sure that's not the Crime Watch list, Crofty? You're looking at?
It's pretty much the same thing, Martin. Don't worry about it. Now, which of the following isn't true about Hemel Hempstead? So which one have I made up? Hemel Hempstead contains a magic roundabout which features a big roundabout with 6 little roundabouts around the outside and is very confusing. That's where they built the first ever purpose-built multi-storey car park in the UK, or it's where they built the Mars rover, currently scurrying around on the red planet as we speak.
So which one is not true, you're saying?
Which one is not true?
I think the roundabouts, because isn't that Swindon?
Yeah, well, there is one in Swindon, but Anthony?
So, mate, I didn't even give you this question.
That's a very good point. You didn't, to be
You
fair.
just completely made this up.
Yeah, I have.
Did
Because
you not like my 5 questions that I gave you?
some of them were just so boring. I didn't want to waste them on a
Unbelievable.
to be fair. I mean, just what sort of a life have you led?
I think we've all just learned something here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fix. This
all-
quiz is a fix.
There is a magic roundabout in Hemel. It is very confusing. There is the first ever purpose-built multi-storey car park in the UK, but the Mars rover was not built in Hemel Hempstead. That was built in the lovely town of Stevenage. The first new town is still the best. Thank you very much.
On my very first driving lesson, my dad took me round the
No.
made me drive round the magic roundabout. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And did you get lost?
I didn't crash.
Which amazing.
Nearly did, but nearly doesn't count.
Dreadful roundabouts. And finally, in this round, we all know that he conquered the world as a sports car driver. My spell check has also corrected to this and conquered the world as a sportswear driver. It's not the same thing at all. But where did Anthony finish in his first ever sports car race?
Oof, that's tough.
That is really tough.
This one was from Ant. He made this one up.
Well, if Ant made it, it's got to be first, hasn't it?
You've twisted it though, Crofty.
I haven't twisted it at all.
You've twisted it.
Where did you finish in your first sports car race? How have I twisted that?
No, that's not what I sent you.
Yeah, come on. Surely I need multiple choice in this. This is quite...
Shall I? Hold on.
All right, and you tell me.
I'll read out the actual question
Okay.
that he's trying to... So, when was my first ever sports car race? That's what I texted you.
Yeah, but that's a dull question.
You don't have to. You should have told me. You said thanks, mate. Brilliant.
Thanks, but no thanks. But I didn't want to put you down.
When was my first ever sports car race?
Well, you can answer either, Karun.
Can I have either? Okay, either one. All right.
I'll want all the interesting one.
Can I say? You did that?
You still
one with Colin McRae and stuff, didn't you? In the Ferrari. Was that your first one?
Crofty.
The 550. Well, I'd say 2004.
I haven't got a clue. I didn't ask that question.
Oh, right. And 2004?
Very close. Very close.
Five? Huh?
You can't keep guessing.
Oh, I don't know. 2004, so it's wrong.
It was 2003.
Oh, was it? Which one was that?
You got the car right.
That was the Pro Drive 550, wasn't it?
550 mile.
Yeah.
You've got to get half a point. You've got to get half a point for that.
Sorry, Martin. I can hear people turning off all around the world at that question.
Where did you finish?
Well, this is why I have an issue with Crofty's. Where did I finish? I finished in hospital.
Crofty, to have a quiz format to tweet, first you've got to have a format.
Yes.
Anarchy.
Yes, you finished in hospital. Why was that?
Because the car broke.
It's not my fault the car broke. Not your fault the car broke. I just
get control of this, Crofty.
I thought that was more interesting. I'm trying to take control. I'm coming up with intelligent.
You've made up 2 questions.
Yes.
Completely off your own bat. You made them up.
Because as we've just
what the rest of this quiz is like.
Because as we've just proved, your questions were really, really dull and boring. Fortunately, that's the end of questions about you. We can move on to some more interesting.
Let's go on to more questions that you've manipulated.
Exactly. How well do you know Martin Brundle, Craig Slater?
Well, but we're about to find out.
We're about to find out. Martin is a very clever man and has an honorary doctorate to prove it. But is he a doctor of law, a doctor of love, or a doctor of life?
Well, could be more than one answer there, couldn't there? He's got to be a doctor of law, I'm going to say.
Martin Brundle?
Because it has to.
The other two answers, that was a giveaway. Yeah, I got a doctorate of law from the University of East Anglia. And my daughter, Charlie, and my son, Alex, were so miffed by that because they spent years getting degrees. And I'm like, you spend all that time for? I got it in an afternoon traveling to Norwich. But yeah, I got a doctorate of law. The other two, I'm not sure there's a doctorate in the other two, are there?
Oh, there is. I know many doctors of love. People pretending to be anyway. Martin was once in a comic strip, but what was his name? Was it Skid Solo, Skid Marks, or Skid Apple?
I don't want to say skid marks. I've just said it though. Skedaddle. We'll go skedaddle.
Skedaddle? No, Martin.
Yeah, it was when I was teammates with Sterling Moss in the Audi in 1981. There was a comic strip for the old boy and the young guy, and I was Skid Solo.
Wow.
Go Star Wars, yeah. Would have been. Yeah.
I love it. Anyone who's ever heard Martin's mobile phone ringtone would know his favourite band is either Status Quo, Deep Purple, or ABBA.
Is it Deep Purple? Deep Purple.
Deep Purple.
It's not, is it? It's the Quo.
Martin.
Deep Purple.
Which answer you gone for?
I'm going for Deep Purple. It's clearly not right.
It is.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
No, it's right. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, I do.
Smoke on the Waters, my ringtone. Yes. It's been trying to ring while we've been doing this, actually. That's it.
Martin's nickname at school was Britch, Snitch, or Scratch.
Snitch. I don't know. I'll go Snitch. Is it Snitch? Scratch. Who knows? Snitch.
Snitch, Scratch.
Sorry, Martin.
Yeah.
You never dropped me in it, but
No, it was Britch. I have no idea why, but my nickname was Britch at school.
Britch. If anyone out there went to school with Martin Brundle and can remember why he was called Britch, send the tweets. We'll give you a new quiz format as a way of thank you. But I'd love to know why you were called Britch.
I know it might have been Martin Brundle has got breeches in his stitches or stitches in his breeches or something. I don't know. I used to, Ewan used to write on the front of your exercise books. I remember Britch in big bold letters with a bit of a Union Jack or something.
Very good.
As you do, as you did.
Could have
You
had
probably
that.
get expelled now for doing that.
Right. And finally, if Martin could sit down with a malt whiskey and a little cold water for his favourite drink, what would be his perfect meal of choice to go with that perfect drink? Would it be tatties and neeps or neeps and tatties? Would it be toad in the hole? Or would it be sea bass, spinach and boiled potatoes?
I remember Britch saying once that he was. See, it does stick. Sorry. I can't remember the other two. Obviously, the neeps and tarties is traditional accompaniment to whiskey. I'm going to go for sea bass, just as a guess. Sea bass.
Correct. I don't tend to have them together, I have to say. But it was two of my questions rolled up in one there.
Yep.
But anyway, sea bass. Sea bass, wilted spinach, new potatoes, bit of butter and mint. That'll do.
And I rolled 2 into 1 because you gave me 7 very interesting facts. The 7th of which will be known only to myself and you for the rest of our day. But Martin Brundle, thank you very much. Finally, you get to answer questions about Karun Chandhok.
Oh, here we go, Karun.
Now, Karun has not always been the lean, mean, loving machine that we see before our very eyes. In fact, when he was a child, he was rather fond of a jammy Dodger or 7. But what was his peak weight as a child? Was it 76 kilos, 96 kilos, or 116 kilos?
Wow.
I'm going to 76 doesn't sound a whole lot to me. 116 sounds too much. So I'm going to go 106. I have seen a picture of Karun when he was slightly less fit than he is now.
96, 116, or 76?
96.
Okay,
that's the correct answer.
It is the correct answer, of course. Yes, we've all seen the passport photo. Right, what was Karun's first road car when he moved to the UK? Did he get a Vauxhall Vectra? Did he get a Porsche 911? Or did he get a Mercedes C63 Coupe?
I'm going to go Vauxhall Vectra.
Karun Chandhok driving a Vauxhall Vectra?
I think that is the correct answer. R363 BBH, probably in a scrapyard at the moment. It was this thing, when we bought it in a gas station on the way back from Pembrey, and at night, and in the morning when the sun came up, my dad said, "You got to come and see this." And every body panel was a different shade of red, pink, or orange. This thing had obviously been in a fairly, few number of shunts. Awful.
I'm still shaking my head at the fact you can remember the number plate of your first car.
Well, there you go.
That is impressive. We've had a few, you see, so I'm impressed with that. Right, true or false, Martin? Karun raced in the first ever A1 GP and Formula E races.
Well, he definitely raced in both. I can remember his car with very colourful rear wing. So I'm going to go true.
That's correct, yeah.
Is the correct answer. He was there at Brands Hatch for the first A1 GP race, won by Nelson Piquet Jr. Karun didn't win.
Actually, he and I were probably the only two who did the first A1 GP and the first Formula E. I was trying to think if there are others who were.
Yeah,
was it the colourful wing? Was it the wing?
Yeah, it was the Indian flag
car?
colours. Yeah, the whole car, orange, white, and green. Yeah.
And if you remember the first Formula E race, you beat Nelson Piquet Jr. that day. I mean, he might have gone on to win the championship that year, but you beat him in that first race, Karun.
Yeah, I did. Thanks, Crofty.
3 places. How many World Championship winning F1 cars has Karun driven? Is it 2, 7, or 12?
Definitely not as many as Martin.
No, that's true. No, that's very true.
World Championship winning. So he drives a lot of Williams cars, I know. It's not definitely 2. That's way too few. Could it be as many as 12? I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go in the middle there at 7, Crofty.
That's correct. Yeah.
This is good going.
I seem to know Karun quite well.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, one of the wonderful things about waking up next to Karun is that he makes a gorgeous cup of tea first thing in the morning. So I'm told. But how old was he when he made his first cup of tea? Was he 18, 20, or 22?
He's from India. I mean, half the world's tea comes from India. I thought you were going to say, was he 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah, no, 18, 20, or 22. He was a late developer.
I don't have a Scooby-Doo. So why don't I go, when would I first, when we first let near a kettle Karun? 18.
Oh,
That is an excellent guess. It was actually when I came to England for in 2002.
yes.
What, you
'Cause
don't,
I grew up in the south of India and we all drank coffee. So we were all
Right.
coffee drinkers at home.
I remember making cups of tea when I was 14, when I was a boy, and I haven't made many since because I was dreadful at it then. But whenever you start, as long as you get it right. And talking of getting things right, the scores going into the final round. This is looking very competitive. Anthony Davidson with a very healthy 8. Karun Chandhok with a looking lively 9. Craig Slater 1 ahead with 10. Martin Brundle in the lead with 11
Wow.
points.
Whoa.
It is close. And don't forget, boys, it's double points for the final round.
oh, painful.
Absolutely. Well, Bernie's idea, and I think it works, quite frankly. So, because, Ant, you are in 4th place at the moment, you get to choose the specialist subject first. And your specialist subject categories are Feed the World, Rainbow Nation, Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary, or Capital Punishment. They are your subjects.
Did you
Feed
say
the World,
feed the
Rainbow
world?
Nation.
I'll go first one. Feed the world.
Do you really want to go Feed the World? Are you sure?
I'm not sure about any of them, to be honest. I don't think I'll do very well in any of them. I'll take the first one.
Is this lines out of Band-Aid?
Yeah, that
It
was
is-
Who sang what in Band-Aid? Is it?
It is questions about Live Aid.
Oh, I'm feeling hungry. That's why.
Questions about Live Aid. Do you
Oh no!
remember Live Aid? You were what? 2, 3? How old were you in
I was thinking
1985?
I'm in my late 40s now, Crofty. according to you.
How old were you in 1985?
I was
5.
6. Yeah.
6. So you'll have watched both concerts then, and you'll know. First question:
Oh yeah, remember them so well.
what were the 2 cities that hosted the Live Aid concerts in 1985? The 2 main ones. One was in the UK. One was in the USA. Famous concert watched by a lot of people.
Oh man, I don't know. One was in the US, one was in the UK. I go London and New York.
Well, I'll give you 1 point for that because London is correct. Philadelphia.
Ah,
The city of brotherly
Are
love.
we allowed to steal? Are we allowed to steal in these rounds?
No, not on these ones. No, because these aren't your proper specialist subjects. Yeah, you would have known it was Philadelphia.
No, I'd have said LA.
You didn't steal them. The concert, Ant, holds the record for the most watched television event in history. What was the reported worldwide TV audience? Was it 900 million, 1.4 billion, or 1.9 billion?
Sorry, what's the last one?
1.9 billion.
1.9 billion sounds like too much. It's too high. The middle one was just over 1 billion, did you say?
1.4 billion.
I do know it pulled incredibly high numbers, but I think 1.9 is too much. I'll go 1.4 billion.
1.9 billion.
What's it? Wow.
100
Wow.
Back in those days as well, that's impressive.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
150
Really impressive. I wouldn't have believed that.
150 countries took the concert, almost as many as take our race coverage on Sky Sports F1. 1.9 billion, the most watched TV audience ever. Now, which band opened up the Wembley concert, and what song did they sing? See, I did wonder when you took this one on.
Well, I don't know. Just like I said, I was probably feeling hungry. I've got no idea. No idea.
It's a famous song and kind of very much in keeping. "Rocking All Over the World" by Status Quo opened up the whole Live Aid thing. You'll know that song when you hear it.
Song. I didn't know that was the opening song.
Which drummer played at both the UK and USA concerts? He took a ride on Concorde to make sure he got to the American gig on time. He could feel it in the air tonight, and
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
And he could feel it in the air tonight.
Phil Collins.
Oh, how did you get that?
I don't know. Unfair.
And which rock guitarist played air guitar at Live Aid? He gave his guitar to Bob Dylan because Dylan broke a string, and then it took him a while to find a guitar. So he stood there playing air guitar. Was it Queen's Brian May? Was it The Who's Pete Townsend? Or was it Ronnie Wood of the Stones?
Ronnie Wood.
Which Anthony takes you into the lead with 13 points for a question. We go next.
Started to realise how I made the final here, Crofty.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
It was at this stage that Johnny and Paul just spectacularly gave up.
Yeah.
Karun, you are next because you have 9 points. You get to choose Rainbow Nation, Mary Mary, Quite Contrary, or Capital Punishment.
Capital Punishment?
I name the country, you name the capital city.
Oh, God.
That's easier than my one,
Oh, well, and my son's not yet in school, so I haven't had the chance to revise recently.
Oh, you've got all the time in the world to do so. Starting off with Brazil.
Brasilia.
Brasilia is the correct answer. Ethiopia.
It's not Addis Ababa. God, I'm drawing a blank.
It is, isn't it?
Is it Addis Ababa?
I think so.
Is it Addis Ababa?
Addis Ababa is the correct
Oh, right.
Oh. Chile.
Chile, Santiago, of course.
Santiago is the correct answer. Canada.
Ottawa.
Well, you ought to know that because you're.
I ought to know that.
I was Canadian. And Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I don't know.
They had the Olympics there once. Sarajevo.
Oh, cool.
Sarajevo. 4 points for Karun Chandhok.
No, double.
That's not bad. So 8.
Oh, sorry, 8 points. That's taking you up to 17.
Wow.
Oh, that's unassailable.
That's good. Which means, Craig Slater, you're looking for 4 points.
Yep.
Either Rainbow Nation or Mary Mary, Quite Contrary.
Is that going to be gardening? Yeah. I'm going to go Rainbow Nation. God knows what it is.
Rainbow Nation. All the answers contain a colour of the rainbow.
Okay, that's doable.
Violet Beauregard is a character in which children's story?
Yes, that's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What's the name of the Scottish village made famous by runaway marriages?
Gretna Green.
Gretna Green.
This is
what colour does saffron give to food?
Very easy.
It's yellow. It is quite easy, yes.
It is yellow. A blue flame indicates the presence of what metal?
Sorry. Lithium.
Lithium?
Is it? I don't know.
Lithium.
Is it, Aluminium. I don't know.
Aluminium is the wrong answer. Copper. And what substance gives a carrot its orange pigment?
Oh, that's good. No idea.
Very easy.
Oh, sorry. What substance?
Yeah. It's also found in pumpkins, apricots, and
no, I pass. I don't know.
Pass.
Tapping my nose.
Vitamin A, isn't it?
No, this is not vitamin A.
Keratin.
It's keratin, isn't it?
Keratin. I didn't know that. I've learned something.
You certainly have.
Yeah.
That, Craig, was a bit of a blow for you because that takes you up to 16 points.
Still the podium. It's still the podium. I'm happy. I'm there.
Those double points, that one.
Double points. So, Martin, that leaves you with Mary, quite contrary.
Thanks.
I really hope it's about nursery rhymes because Martin's kids are a long way past that.
It could be about nursery rhymes, but as Craig speculated, it's about things that grow in your garden. Yeah, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? Which of these is not a winter crop? A cabbage, a leek, or a tomato? A cabbage.
That's really easy.
I chose the wrong one.
Is it?
And this was for you, Anne. And is my garden.
Which is not
having a go.
winter crop.
Not a winter crop. Karun's on 17. Craig's on 16. Ant's on 13. Martin, you start this round on 11 points. So you only need 3 to tie.
Can the computer take away the 2 wrong answers?
A cabbage, a leek, or a tomato? What is not a winter crop?
Winter crop. Leek.
It's a tomato.
Oh, I nearly said tomato and I thought it was too obvious in a glass house.
Yeah, Frank.
I'm annoyed with myself now because I got talked out of that by myself.
This is what happens when you're a Gemini. We have this ability, you see, to talk ourselves out of things. And when should you plant daffodil bulbs? In the autumn, whenever you feel like it, or March?
Well, definitely not March because they start coming up about then. Well, you can plant them whenever you feel like it.
But when's the best time, really?
Then in the autumn.
In the autumn is the correct answer. Well done.
Thank you.
What's the natural inclination of the pea plants? Is it to climb, to bloom all year round, or to sink into the ground?
So she's chosen this topic.
Pea plant.
The pea plant. And you could have chosen this topic.
I'm growing them as well.
Well, the bean.
Climbers they are, Martin.
The bean climbs, of course, doesn't it? It does. So what were the 3 again?
To climb, to bloom all year round, or to sink into the ground?
Then it's climb, isn't it, surely?
It is to climb. Takes you on to 15. 2 points behind Karun Chandhok with 2 questions to go. Can you feel the tension, ladies and gentlemen? Can you feel the tension? Which of these is an actual rose? The rose of Sharon, the hybrid tea rose, or the moss rose?
The hybrid tea rose.
Is an actual rose. Congratulations, moves you level with Karun Chandhok. It is down to 1 question. We've had a whole week of quizzes. We've had so many different questions, and it all rides on the very last question. This is like Lewis Hamilton and Timo Glock in 2008. But
if I lose this, I'm going to blame tomatoes. I'm never going to eat a tomato again.
Felipe Massa blames Timo's. You can blame tomatoes. This is how it works. The death cap is the most poisonous variety of what?
Mushroom.
And because, ladies and gentlemen, he's a fun guy, he's got the answer right. Martin Brundle wins. Wow. Martin Brundle. Who'd have thought it?
Thanks, mate. I've beaten some great minds and fast minds, great knowledge there, and it all came down to a mushroom.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a metaphor for life. Anthony Davidson, if only you'd have chose the gardening round, you could have
So much easier.
So much easier. Craig Slater, you gave it a superb go. But in the end, just a few little points separated you and a famous victory.
My BFH, Crofty. My bus fare home.
Your bus fare home.
Oh no, I am home. I don't even need that.
And the stress got so much he undid his top button. But Rick Chandhok, you were the free competition favourite for this one.
I blame Anthony Davidson for this. He should have just finished second at Le Mans, not third. That's it. I blame him.
Well, if you hadn't crashed into our teammate, we would have.
To be fair, Karun, if you hadn't have gone changing the questions because you thought my one was boring, you might have got the answer right, and therefore you might have tied.
Well,
No, to be honest, I thought he had won his first race. I didn't think he ended up in hospital for that one. So there you go.
Well, you see, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Martin, congratulations. You have our respect, our love, our adoration, but to be fair, you had that anyway. You are the first winner of the Sky F1 quiz. You might be the only winner, but then again, you might come back and do this again sometime. Thanks, guys, for taking part.
Thank you. Well done, Crofty.
Well done, Crofty.
Very good. Good quiz. And is it just pride, or do I actually get something?
Well, when we finally see you, we'll probably put our hands in our pockets and treat you to, I don't know, spinach, corn potatoes, and some nice sea bass with a malt whiskey.
And some mushroom on the side.
And single malt, some nice single malt.
yeah, next summer I'll buy you a tomato seed. You can grow it from that.
Sounds like a fair price. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for taking part. Thanks to you for watching as well. This has been the Sky F1 Cavalcade of Quiziness. We might do this again sometime. Take care. Stay safe.